Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to validate literally any rank and rent niche. I'm going to be giving you an over-the-shoulder example of me actually running the numbers, walking you through my thought process that I've picked up over nearly the last decade of selling leads. Definitely a lot of things that I really wish I would have known before I got started. So if you're struggling at all on knowing if a niche is good, if it's worth your time, if you should get into it, all that type of stuff, this is a video for you. So let's get into it. All right, so before we actually get into some numbers, what are some things that I actually look for? I'm validating a niche for rank and rent. Well, there's a number of things. So one, you have to be able to reasonably generate a consistent search volume on a consistent basis. So reasonably basically means not too much competition. You can actually rank it pretty easily, and it's not going to take a lot of your time and money to maintain it. Right. Um, Also, when you run it through the calculator, which I'm going to show in a second here, it needs to come up to at least $1,000 a month that you be able to rent the site out for, which I'll explain a little bit here. So that goes back to as well. It needs to be an expensive item, relatively high ticket, either the initial item. The initial cost needs to be expensive, so a roof is $5,000, $10,000. We're talking porta potties. Porta potties usually aren't too much, but they tend to have a little bit more reoccurring things like this. Um, so basically, it needs to be a high ticket item, right? I would say minimum $1,000, right? Like um, average customer costs. It needs to be call driven as well. People still need to be consistently picking up the phone and dialing to get pricing and get estimates, which is why most of these niches tend to be in construction. People still, for whatever reason, they still call for construction. Um, you don't just, you can't just get a price for your roof online, right? Even porta potties, people don't tend to put those things online, right? For whatever reason, the prices, you still tend to have to call for it. And last is I want to make sure that it would be what's referred to as non-branded. Um, you know, a roof's a roof, a porta potty is a porta potty, right? A driveway concrete floor is a concrete floor. There's no Apple for roofs. People don't really care. They just want a roof that looks good, seals, and it's a good price, right? So they don't really care where they get that from, right? Which means they're much more willing to call around and basically just find a good contractor that has a good price and has a good customer service and all that type of stuff. Hey guys, and real quick, if you are getting value out of this and you want to see more videos on how to sell rank and rent, marketing, SEO, all that good stuff, please subscribe down below. Thank you. All right, so let's just pull up the handy dandy calculator here and run this really quick for let's say epoxy flooring. That's a good one. So as I mentioned before, you need to be able to consistently get leads per month. That's going to be whatever you use for your third-party tools. See what's ranking, all that type of stuff. See if you can get the GMBs. That's definitely a different video. But let's say you can consistently get 10 to 15 leads a month, something like that. You're pretty confident with that. You can also run some ads as well. Run some ads, see what the actual search volume is, and then see the competition and be like, okay, look, so I know if I get in the top three, I'll at least get 10, 15 searches a month. Okay, so margins. Okay, well, let's just see, what's the margin for an epoxy floor? Okay. All right, great. Yeah, it's a pretty high margin actually. Flooring industry epoxy flooring generates profits 38 to 45%. Maybe check this. Obviously, you want to check all of these, but we're doing this fast here. So let's do 40%. Right in the, yeah. We always want to go a little conservatively. All right. Next, what do we got here? Close rate. I usually put 25% in. If you want to be conservative, 20% in. 20% is quite conservative. 30s, it depends on the contractor. So if you get a contractor that's really good and you think he do well, maybe push it up a little bit more. But let's just go really conservative here. We'll go 20%. All right. So last is going to be average sales price for a product or service. All right. Okay. Okay. Installed. Epoxy. Yeah. Two-car garage. Obviously in the US, most of two-car garages be 12. commercials. Okay, so there's two types here. I see residential, so it looks like residential is going to be mostly garages, and then commercial is going to be bigger. And epoxy floors, if you know what they are, I actually would foresee these being more commercials, like, I don't know, factories or big workshops, things like this. So let's see here. How many? Forget my spelling, bad, I'm doing this fast. Oh, okay. Commercials 53%. Okay. Interesting, I thought it'd be higher. That'd be something you want to confirm, but right now we're just going 50-50. Okay, so then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a weighted average. So 50% are between 2,500 and 5,000, and 50% are between 30,000 and 60,000. The middle of 30,000 and 60,000. I mean, we'll just type it in here. So I'll have to, okay. All right, so what I'm trying to do is I'm using the ranges. I'm using the percentages of commercial to non-commercial. I'm trying to see what roughly the average cost is going to be. Yeah, okay. So yep, it's about 3,700 on average, 4,000 on average, 50-50. Average cost of the job is 21,000. I mean, if that's true, that's absurd, right? If that's true, this is a phenomenal niche. But from the initial check, I mean, you got an absolute banger, because if you're able to get 15 leads, I mean, just look at that. If you're able to get 15 leads at 20% close rate, I mean, that's 26 grand in profit. I'm skeptical of these numbers. I would do a lot more research before getting into this, and I would actually even call some contractors and get the numbers from the contractors themselves. That's really the last step of this. First step is getting these preliminary numbers and seeing if that's even worth your time. But the next step is going to be, okay, look, like, you gotta get on the phone, big, hey, I just be, hey, look, hey, I personally, for me, I'd be, hey, look, I'm a young guy, I'm thinking of starting a flooring business. I really just love to know, just give you some numbers. I'm in a different city, not going to be your competition. I'm just curious. I mean, what typically is your average client value, and try and get some of these numbers from an actual contractor and verify the niche. But if these numbers are true, you got an absolutely phenomenal niche here. That's it for today, guys. If you got any questions, please drop a comment down below and I'll get back to you. Thanks.